Welcome to Bedtime True Crime, the YouTube channel that takes you on a haunting exploration of the world of true crime, serial killers, and unsolved mysteries. Join us as we journey into the shadows, unearthing spine-tingling tales that will keep you awake at night. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to never miss another thrilling episode. Now get comfortable, turn off the lights, and prepare to be captivated by the sinister side of human nature as we delve into today's bone-chilling story. Welcome to Bedtime True Crime, the YouTube channel that takes you on a haunting exploration of the world of true crime, serial killers, and unsolved mysteries. Join us as we journey into the shadows, unearthing spine-tingling tales that will keep you awake at night. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to never miss another thrilling episode. Now get comfortable, turn off the lights, and prepare to be captivated by the sinister side of human nature as we delve into today's bone-chilling story. In the quiet town of Nevinomysk, Russia, a dark and twisted secret lurked beneath the surface. A man with an insatiable appetite for violence hid in plain sight, preying on young boys who trusted him as their mentor and friend. This is the chilling story of Anatoly Slivko, also known as the Red Ripper. The year was 1961 when our tale begins to unfold. Nevinomysk was a small industrial town nestled within the Stavropol region of Russia. It was a relatively peaceful place where people went about their daily lives without much fear or suspicion. Little did they know that among them lived a monster whose depravity would shock even the most hardened investigators. Anatoly Slivko appeared to be just another ordinary citizen. He held down a steady job at a local factory and had a wife and 2 children whom he loved dearly. But behind this facade lay his true nature, one filled with sadistic desires and perverse fantasies. Slivko's descent into darkness began when he witnessed a horrific car accident involving several teenage boys wearing Young Pioneers uniforms, Soviet youth organization attire similar to Boy Scouts in Western countries. As he watched helplessly while these innocent victims burned alive inside their vehicle, something sinister stirred deep within him. This gruesome scene ignited an obsession in Slivko that would consume him for decades to come. He became fixated on recreating this tragedy through staged accidents, using unsuspecting young boys as his victims. And so began his reign of terror. As we delve further into this harrowing account, prepare yourself for shocking revelations about how far one man will go to satisfy his darkest urges, and stay tuned until the end for an unexpected twist you won't see coming. Anatoly Slivko's twisted fascination with the accident he had witnessed led him to devise a sinister plan. He would lure young boys into his web of deception by offering them friendship, trust, and mentorship. To do this, he established a local youth club where he could easily gain access to potential victims. The Churgid Club was founded in 1965 under the guise of promoting physical fitness and outdoor activities for young boys between the ages of 12 and 17. The unsuspecting parents were more than happy to have their children participate in such wholesome pursuits, completely unaware that they were sending their sons straight into the clutches of a predator. Slivko carefully selected his targets from among the club members, boys who bore an uncanny resemblance to those involved in the car accident that had sparked his obsession. With each new victim, he meticulously planned out every detail of his sadistic game, ensuring that no one would suspect anything amiss until it was far too late. Once Slivko gained the trust of these impressionable youths, he began subjecting them to a series of bizarre experiments under the pretext of scientific research or medical examinations. In reality, these experiments served only as a means for Slivko to indulge in his perverse fantasies. He convinced some boys that they needed to be temporarily hanged unconscious so that their spines could be stretched, supposedly improving their posture and height. Others were told that being doused in gasoline and set alight would help treat various skin conditions or even cure asthma. As horrifying as these acts may seem on their own, what happened next is truly beyond comprehension. With his victims rendered unconscious by the staged accidents, Slivko's depravity reached new heights. He would strip them naked and pose their limp bodies in various positions, taking photographs and filming the entire ordeal for his own twisted pleasure. In some cases, he even went so far as to mutilate the boys' genitals or sever their limbs while they were still unconscious. The pain of these horrific acts often caused the victims to regain consciousness, only to find themselves at the mercy of a sadistic monster who showed no signs of stopping. As if this wasn't enough, Slivko also engaged in necrophilic acts with several corpses before disposing of them, sometimes burying them in shallow graves near his home or burning them beyond recognition. Over time, Slivko refined his methods and became more adept at covering up his crimes. Incredibly, not all of his victims perished during these gruesome experiments. Some managed to survive but had little recollection of what had happened due to memory loss induced by oxygen deprivation from being hanged unconscious. These survivors unwittingly provided Slivko with an alibi when questioned about any missing children. They spoke highly of him as a mentor and friend, never suspecting that he was responsible for such unspeakable atrocities against other members of their club. For years, Anatoly Slivko continued preying on young boys without arousing suspicion from authorities or those around him. His reign of terror seemed unstoppable, until one fateful day when everything began to unravel. In 1985, a young boy named Sergei went missing after attending one of Slivko's club meetings. His disappearance raised alarm bells among the local community and prompted an investigation into his whereabouts. As authorities began to dig deeper, they discovered that several other boys had also vanished without a trace over the years, all with connections to Anatoly Slivko and his Churgid club. This chilling revelation led them to question whether there was more to this seemingly upstanding citizen than met the eye. The investigators decided to search Slivko's home for any clues regarding the missing children. What they found inside would send shockwaves throughout Russia and beyond. Hundreds of photographs and hours of film footage depicting unconscious boys in various states of undress or mutilation. Upon further examination, it became clear that these were not merely staged scenes, but rather evidence of horrific crimes committed against innocent victims. The sheer scale and depravity of Slivko's actions left even seasoned detectives reeling in disbelief. With their suspicions confirmed, authorities arrested Anatoly Slivko on charges related to murder, sexual assault, and necrophilia. As news spread about his arrest, people struggled to comprehend how someone who appeared so ordinary could be capable of such monstrous acts. But as shocking as these revelations may have been, nothing could prepare investigators for what they would uncover during their interrogation of the Red Ripper. As investigators interrogated Anatoly Slivko, they hoped to uncover the full extent of his crimes and understand what drove him to commit such unspeakable acts. What emerged during these sessions was a chilling insight into the mind of a sadistic killer. Slivko confessed to having murdered 7 boys over a 22-year period, but authorities suspected that there may have been many more victims who were never found or identified. He showed no remorse for his actions, instead describing in graphic detail how he had derived pleasure from torturing and killing these innocent children. He revealed that his obsession with recreating the car accident stemmed from an intense sexual arousal he experienced while witnessing the event, something he referred to as the fire within. This twisted fascination fueled his desire to replicate the scene using young boys who resembled those involved in the original tragedy. During their investigation, authorities also discovered that Slivko had kept macabre souvenirs from some of his victims, shoes filled with bloodied socks, clothing items, and even severed limbs preserved in jars. These grisly mementos served as trophies for the Red Ripper, reminders of his horrific deeds and proof of his power over life and death. As word spread about Slivko's arrest and subsequent confession, people struggled to come to terms with the fact that someone they knew and trusted could be responsible for such atrocities. Families mourned their lost loved ones while grappling with feelings of betrayal by a man who had once seemed like a caring mentor. But despite this overwhelming sense of shock and disbelief, justice would finally catch up with Anatoly Slivko. As the investigation into Anatoly Slivko's heinous crimes continued, authorities worked tirelessly to piece together evidence that would ensure his conviction. The photographs and film footage discovered in his home provided damning proof of his guilt, but investigators also sought additional information to strengthen their case. They conducted interviews with surviving victims who had been subjected to Slivko's twisted experiments. Although many struggled to recall specific details due to memory loss caused by oxygen deprivation, their accounts painted a chilling picture of abuse and manipulation at the hands of someone they had once trusted. Forensic experts examined the remains of those victims whose bodies had been recovered, as well as any physical evidence found at crime scenes or within Slivko's possession. This included analyzing bloodstains on clothing items and conducting DNA tests on preserved body parts, all of which further implicated him in these horrific acts. The groundbreaking techniques employed during this investigation allowed authorities not only to confirm Slivko's involvement in multiple murders, but also helped them understand how he managed to evade capture for so long. By meticulously planning each staged accident and carefully selecting his targets, the Red Ripper was able to maintain an outward appearance of normalcy while secretly indulging in his sadistic desires. With overwhelming evidence against him, there could be no doubt about Anatoly Slivko's guilt. He stood trial for his unspeakable crimes, facing charges that would ultimately seal his fate. As the families of Anatoly Slivko's victims grappled with their unimaginable loss, they sought solace in knowing that justice would finally be served. The survivors who had been subjected to his twisted experiments bravely shared their stories during the trial, providing a harrowing glimpse into the depths of human depravity. Parents mourned sons whose lives were cruelly cut short by a man they had once trusted and admired. They struggled to comprehend how someone could commit such heinous acts against innocent children, all while maintaining an outward appearance of respectability and kindness. The community was left reeling from this shocking betrayal, as people tried to come to terms with the fact that a monster had lived among them for so long undetected. Many questioned whether there were warning signs or red flags that should have alerted them to Slivko's true nature before it was too late. Despite these lingering questions and feelings of guilt, those affected by Slivko's crimes found some measure of comfort in witnessing him face the consequences of his actions. As evidence mounted against him during the trial, it became increasingly clear that the Red Ripper would not escape punishment for his unspeakable deeds. As the trial of Anatoly Slivko progressed, a clearer picture emerged of the man behind these horrific crimes. Born in 1938 in Izberbash, Dagestan, he had grown up in an ordinary family and showed no early signs of the monster he would become. However, it was later revealed that Slivko suffered from sexual sadism disorder, a condition characterized by deriving pleasure from inflicting pain or humiliation on others. This diagnosis helped explain his perverse fascination with recreating the car accident and torturing young boys who resembled those involved in the tragedy. Despite appearing to lead a normal life as a husband, father, and respected member of society, Slivko's dark side remained hidden beneath this facade. He carefully cultivated relationships with his victims and their families, while secretly indulging in his twisted desires. The psychological profile developed during the investigation painted a chilling portrait of the Red Ripper, a cunning predator who manipulated those around him for personal gain and satisfaction. His ability to deceive not only his victims, but also their loved ones, allowed him to continue committing atrocities undetected for over 2 decades. As more details about Slivko's background and motivations came to light during the trial, there could be no doubt about his guilt or responsibility for these unspeakable acts. The manhunt for Anatoly Slivko had come to an end, and the trial proceedings exposed his horrific crimes. As investigators presented their evidence, including photographs, film footage, and survivor testimonies, it became increasingly clear that the Red Ripper would not escape justice. The prosecution argued that Slivko's actions were premeditated and carefully planned, a chilling testament to his cunning nature as a predator. With each staged accident and subsequent act of torture or murder, he demonstrated a complete disregard for human life in pursuit of his twisted desires. In 1989, after a lengthy trial process, Anatoly Slivko was found guilty on multiple counts of murder, sexual assault, and necrophilia. He was sentenced to death by firing squad, a fitting punishment for someone who had caused so much pain and suffering. On September 16, 1991, at the age of 53, Anatoly Slivko met his fate when he was executed by firing squad. His reign of terror had finally come to an end. In the aftermath of the trial and execution, families mourned their lost loved ones while grappling with feelings of betrayal by a man they once trusted. Survivors struggled to heal from their traumatic experiences at the hands of the Red Ripper, but took solace in knowing that he could no longer harm anyone else. Anatoly Slivko's story serves as a haunting reminder that sometimes evil can hide in plain sight, lurking beneath seemingly ordinary exteriors. The chilling tale of Anatoly Slivko, the Red Ripper, has come to a close. As we reflect on this harrowing story, it's important to remember that even in the most unsuspecting places, darkness can lurk beneath the surface. Slivko's ability to deceive those around him and maintain an outward appearance of normalcy while committing unspeakable acts is a stark reminder that evil can exist where we least expect it. His cunning manipulation of trust allowed him to prey upon innocent victims for over 2 decades before finally being brought to justice. The bravery of survivors who shared their stories during the trial played a crucial role in ensuring that Slivko faced the consequences of his actions. Their courage serves as an inspiration to others who have endured similar traumas, proving that healing is possible and that justice can prevail. As we conclude our journey into the sinister world of the Red Ripper, let us not forget the lives lost at the hands of this sadistic predator and honor their memories by remaining vigilant against such hidden dangers lurking among us. That'll be all for this evening, fellow night owls. We love to hear your feedback. So if there's a notorious killer or sinister story you want us to cover, please let us know in the comments, which we check daily. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay up to date with all our stories and allow us to continue telling our true crime tales.